What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Top Chill Play. 2026 is not just another anime year. It might be one of the most stacked years the medium has had in a long time. Sequels that fans have been waiting on for years are finally coming back. Brand new adaptations of beloved source material are hitting the screen for the first time. And some of the biggest franchises in anime history are heading straight into their most important arcs yet. This list covers the 10 shows you cannot afford to miss this year. Before we dive in, it would mean a lot if you took a second to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps more than you'd think. All right, let's get into it. Number 10. Classroom of the Elite. Season 4. Advanced Nurturing High School was never a normal school. It's a system designed to expose who you really are under pressure. And nobody understands that better than Kiyotaka Ayanokoji. Season 4 kicks off his second year, and the rules just got more complicated. Exams now involve first-year students, and only the second years face expulsion if their team fails. One weak partner, one bad read of a situation, and your future disappears overnight. But the exams aren't what makes this season worth watching. Ayanokoji starts picking up on something early. One of the incoming freshmen carries signals that connect directly to the White Room, the same facility that turned him into what he is. From that point forward, every hallway exchange and every casual conversation becomes a move in a game most people don't even know they're playing. There's no wasted dialogue here. Every interaction has weight. Every silence means something. And watching Ayanokoji operate in real time, cold, precise, always 3 steps ahead, is exactly the kind of thing this show does better than almost anything else. If psychological chess is your thing, Season 4 delivers all the way through. Number 9. Hat Atelier. Magic in this world isn't something you're born with. It's drawn precise symbols on paper that produce precise results, and only those who've been formally trained are allowed to use them. Coco is a regular girl who grew up admiring witches from a distance, convinced she'd never get the chance to become one. Then, one afternoon, she stumbles onto something she was never supposed to see. A forbidden technique. And in a moment of curiosity, she tries to replicate it. That one decision changes everything. Now she's stuck navigating a world with rules far more serious than she understood, carrying knowledge that puts her in a position she can't easily walk back from. The manga this is based on is widely considered one of the most beautifully illustrated in recent memory, and the animation studio handled the transition with the care it deserved. This isn't a loud show. There are no massive battles or over-the-top power reveals. It's quiet, deliberate, and emotionally grounded in a way that sneaks up on you. Fans of Frieren and Made in Abyss will recognize the tone immediately. This one earns its place on the list. Number 8, Ghost in the Shell, 2026. Major Motoko Kusanagi is back. This new series is being positioned as a direct return to the roots of Shiro Masamune's original manga, the source material that put cyberpunk anime on the map and raised questions about identity and consciousness that the genre is still working through today. Section 9 is operational again, running investigations that sit on the blurry line where human ends and machine begins. If you've spent time with Standalone Complex or Arise, you know what this franchise is capable of. Conspiracies with real layers underneath them, action that serves the story instead of just filling runtime, and a philosophical thread running through every episode that makes you think about things long after the credits roll. This new entry is promising updated visuals and a fresh storyline while keeping the core identity of the property intact. The cyberpunk genre has had a lot of new entries in recent years, but very few of them carry the legacy and the intellectual weight that this franchise does. If it delivers on what the early material is suggesting, this could be the standout sci-fi anime of the year. Number 7. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Season 4. Calling Rimuru Tempest overpowered at this point is honestly underselling it. What started as a reincarnation story about a weak slime trying to figure out how to survive in a fantasy world has grown into something on a completely different scale. Rimuru is now the leader of an entire nation, and Tempest has become a political and military power that even demon lords take seriously. The days of scraping by are long gone. Season 4 is expected to push everything to a new level. Large-scale wars, complex political conflicts between major factions, And threats that don't just challenge Rimuru personally. They threaten the nation and the people he spent 3 seasons building a life around. That's what separates this show from most isekai. There are real stakes attached to the world Rimuru created. And watching those stakes get tested is consistently more engaging than watching a protagonist just steamroll enemies. The power fantasy is still there, but it comes with context. If you've been along for the ride since the beginning, this season is where the payoff starts to feel real. Number 6. The Apothecary Diaries Season 3. The Imperial Court runs on secrets. Nobody says exactly what they mean. Every favor has a cost, and one misread of the room can end a career or a life. Mao Mao didn't choose to be here. She's a young woman trained in medicine and poisons who ended up pulled into palace life through circumstances she didn't control, and now she's in too deep to simply walk away. What makes this show consistently worth watching is Mao Mao herself. She's not a fighter, she's not politically ambitious, and she has no interest in the court's power games. But she's a brilliant observer, and she approaches every problem the way a scientist would methodically, without panic, and almost always several steps ahead of the people around her. Season 3 is expected to pull her into darker and more dangerous territory, with conspiracies that reach higher up the chain than anything she's dealt with before. If you prefer sharp writing and careful storytelling over loud action sequences, this series becomes genuinely addictive once it hooks you. And it hooks you faster than you'd expect. One of the most underrated shows currently airing. Number 5. Tomb Raider King. Seo Ju-hyun gave everything to the organization he worked for. Then they used him up, betrayed him, and left him for dead. That's the setup. What makes it interesting is what happens next. He gets sent back in time with full memory of everything that's coming. Every relic location, every double cross. Every move his enemies will make before they make it. So he doesn't rebuild slowly or play it safe. He goes straight on the offensive from day one. He knows exactly which artifacts are worth collecting, which organizations need to be dismantled first, and precisely who is going to betray him if given the opportunity. The pacing is relentless, and the tone is pure power fantasy similar to Solo Leveling, in that the protagonist is rarely in any real danger. But the satisfaction here comes from something specific. Watching someone systematically dismantle every person who wronged him, using knowledge those people don't even know he has. Every confrontation is already won before it starts, and the show leans into that fully. If revenge-driven power fantasy is your genre, this one is built exactly for you. Number 4. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Wolf is a shinobi with one mission: find the lord he was sworn to protect and settle things with everyone responsible for what happened. The setting is Sengoku-era Japan, politically fractured, violent, and full of enemies who are not going to step aside. This isn't a world where the protagonist talks his way through problems. The source material is one of the most respected and demanding action games ever made, a title built entirely on precise swordplay, timing-based duels, and a combat system that punishes every mistake while rewarding complete focus. The anime adaptation is confirmed to be entirely hand-drawn, which is the right decision for a story this kinetic and grounded. What fans of the game are going to be watching for is whether the animation captures the actual weight behind each fight. In the game, no duel feels cheap. Every encounter has its own rhythm, its own specific danger. If the studio translates that tension into the animation with the same level of care, this could genuinely be one of the best action anime of the year. The source material is strong enough, it just needs the execution to match it. Number 3. Bleach. 1000-Year Blood War. Part 4. This is it, the final part of the arc that brought one of anime's most iconic franchises back to life, and reminded the entire community why it belongs in the conversation with the all-time greats. The 1000-Year Blood War adaptation has been operating at a standard most shonen series don't come close to film-quality animation in nearly every episode. A soundtrack that actually adds to the tension, instead of just filling the silence, and pacing that respects the audience's time. Part 4 is where everything converges. Every captain, every bankai that's been built up across hundreds of episodes, every sacrifice the story has been carrying, it all collides in one massive, all-out war. The Soul Society is fighting for its survival, and based on how the previous parts have looked, the production quality is only going up from here. For fans who grew up watching this franchise, this finale is going to land differently than most endings do. It carries the full weight of the series behind it. For newer fans who came in with this adaptation specifically, buckle up, because every part so far has been building to exactly this. The finish line is right here. Number 2. Black Clover Spade Kingdom Raid Arc. Black Clover is back, and it's coming in at the exact moment the story reaches the peak it's been building towards since the beginning. The Dark Triad has opened the gates to the underworld. Key magic knights have been taken. There's no slow build-up here. The raid on the Spade Kingdom begins immediately, and the stakes couldn't be higher. This arc is where Asta's Devil Union finally gets used at full capacity, against enemies that operate on a level completely above what the series has shown before. The Black Bulls, the captains, and allies from multiple kingdoms are all involved, which means the scale of the conflict is unlike anything the show has put together previously. Every major character gets a moment. The battles are consistently some of the best the series has ever animated, and the payoff for longtime fans is genuine, not just hype. If you started watching Black Clover early and felt like the show was setting something up for the long run, this arc is the answer to that. It's Black Clover running at full speed with no breaks, and it earns every bit of the number 2 spot. Number 1. One Piece Elbaf Arc. Elbaf is the arc One Piece fans have been waiting for since the Little Garden Saga referenced it decades ago. The Land of the Giants has been sitting in the background of this story for hundreds of episodes, connected to lore threads that run deeper than most people have been keeping track of. This isn't just another stop on the journey. What happens in Elbaf has direct implications for the endgame of the entire series. Luffy, Shanks, and the Straw Hats are all in play at the same time, and Oda has been carefully setting up the pieces for this arc for years. Foreshadowing that was planted so long ago that some fans forgot about it starts paying off here, and it pays off in ways that reframe things you thought you already understood about the story. The fights are expected to be massive. The lore drops are real. And based on the pacing since Wano, the production is ready to deliver at the highest level. No other anime this year carries the accumulated weight that this arc does. Nothing on this list comes close, and honestly, nothing in the medium right now does either. Special entry: Dragon Ball Super Beerus Saga Remake. Toei is going back and reanimating the Beerus saga from the ground up. Sharper visuals, smoother fights, improved pacing, same story, full modern treatment. For fans who felt like certain arcs in the original Dragon Ball Super run were handled below the level they deserved, this is the version they've been waiting for. The scope of the project goes well beyond a quick nostalgic revisit. The plan covers everything through the Tournament of Power arc, and then continues into the Galactic Patrol storyline the following year. That's a full Dragon Ball Super revival built to today's animation standard, not a limited remake. Son Goku vs. Beerus reanimated with current production quality is already worth paying attention to on its own. The fact that it's the beginning of a much longer project makes it even more significant. Dragon Ball Super is coming back, and this time it looks the part. And that wraps up the list 10 shows plus a bonus entry that make this one of the most exciting years anime has had in a long time. Whether you've been watching for decades or you're still finding your footing with the medium, there is something in this lineup built specifically for you. If you made it all the way to the end, you already know this kind of content takes real time to put together. Go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. That stuff genuinely keeps the channel going. Now, which one from this list are you most hyped for? Drop it in the comments below. Every single one gets read. See you in the next one.